ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविराविर्म एधी वेदस्य महानिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेन अहोरात्रान् संदधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्माम् अवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा जिह्वे पिबस्वामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। नारायण नारायण नारायण। I wish all the listeners of Bhagavad Gita podcast a very, very happy and auspicious Chaitra Navratra 2025, which concludes today with Ram Navami, and of course a very, very auspicious Ram Navami, which is today. So I'll start this session with a small stuti of Mother Durga, Ma Amba Bhavani, and Bhagwan Rama before we get into the session and the verse where we left it in the last session. Om Sarvamangalamangallye Shive Sarvarthasadike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Brahma Rupa Sadanande Paramananda Swarupini Dutta Siddhipade Devi Narayani Namostute Sharanagat Dinartha Paritrana Parayane Sarvasyarti Hare Devi नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते. Now a prayer unto Bhagwan Rama, a prayer of Bhagwan Rama, which is mentioned in Sri Ramcharitmanas by Goswami Tulsidas ji, which is there as a chandas for the birth of Bhagwan Rama, which is mentioned there. भय प्रगट कृपाला दीन दयाला कौसल्या हितकारी हर्षित महतारी मुनि मनहारी अद्भुत रूप विचारी लोचन अभिरामा तनु घन श्यामा निज आयुध भुज चारी भूषण वनमाला नयन विशाला शोभा सिंधु खरारी कह दुई कर जोरी अस्तुति तोरी केहि विधि करौ अनंता माया गुण ज्ञानातीत अमाना वेद पुराण भनंता करुणा सुख सागर सब गुण आगर जेहि गावहि श्रुति संता सो मम हित लागी जन अनुरागी भयउ प्रगट श्रीकंता ब्रह्मांड निकाया निर्मित माया रोम रोम प्रतिवेद कहीं मम उर सोबासी यह उपहासी सुनत धीर मति थिर न रहै उपजा जब ज्ञाना प्रभु मुस्काना चरित बहुत विधि कीन चहै कहीं कथा सुहाई मातु बुझाई जेहि प्रकार सुत प्रेम लही माता पुनि बोली सोमति डोली तजहु तात यह रूपा की जैसी सुलीला अति प्रिय शीला यह सुख परम अनूपा सुनी बचन सुजाना रोदन ठाना होई बालक सुर भूपा यह चरित जगावहि हरिपद पावहि तेन परहि भवकूपा विप्रधेनु सुर संत हित लीन मनुज अवतार निज इच्छा निर्मित तनु माया गुण गोपार सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय. Supreme consciousness Bhagwan Krishna in the verse 2.70, which we had elaborated upon in the last session, speaks high about the man of realization and the vision and the state of a man of realization where he has reached. So beautifully Bhagwan and Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna explains it there that with a simile of an ocean, that what is the state of mind of a man of realization, what level you can see a man of realization. And such a beautiful one where Bhagwan says yadvat apah samudram pravishanti, just as water from all corners of this world, all rivers and everything enters the ocean, and What is the state of the ocean even when water from all the corners of the world enters the ocean? Apuryamanam achala pratishtham. It's completely ever contented in its own self, doesn't, doesn't feel too much also, doesn't, have any kind of vikara in it at all. Achala pratishtham. It's unmoved in totality, doesn't change its form at all. It's unmoved by water entering it from all sources. It does not, or completely protrude out also. It does not move at all. Means what? It does not have any kind of vikara, which means change in its own self. There is no kind of modification in it at all. And Bhagavan says, Tadvat, just as that ocean does that, in the same way, a man of realization, Tadvat kama yam sarve kama yam pravishanti. Desires from all over the world enter him, and like the ocean, even though desire, all the desired objects which are desired by everybody in this whole cosmos, moves or runs towards him, enters him, because he's living at the state of Brahman, which is the source of everything, because he's living at the state of supreme consciousness, which is from which everything originates and in which everything ends. In the same way, so the man of realization, the desires from all of the desired objects and things from all over the world runs towards this man of realization, but his state is what? Apuryamanam achala pratishtam. He doesn't give heed to any of these things at all. None of them has got any capability to drive his attention. Achala pratishtam. And none of those things are able to create any kind of thought modification, vikara, in that man of realization. He is unmoved. Neither he's too happy or enjoys them, neither he's sad at that, why did they come to me. He is like absolutely unmoved. And Bhagwan says is about the who attains the peace in this world. He is the one who attains the peace. Is sa shantim apnoti. And Bhagwan has already said there, na kama kami shantim apnoti. Sa shantim apnoti. Sa means one, and tadvat kama yam sarve kama yam pravishanti, the man of realization. He only attains peace in real terms. All of us, for us, I already mentioned in the last session, for all of us, peace is always in pieces. It's never there in totality. This is the person, man of realization, only experiences unbroken peace. Means what? Eternal peace. For us, peace comes and goes, and it is with us only out of efforts. The moment we stop putting efforts, it goes. But for him, he is completely free from everything. So his peace is always permanent. In the next verse, which we are going to take up today, 71, also Bhagwan takes it to another level about the man of realization and says, Sa shantim adhigachati. Is the only one who crosses over to that level of peace, which is always permanent for that man. It's always eternal. It's always unbroken. Not for, as mentioned in the verse number 17, na kama kami shantim apnoti. The one who is always running after fulfillment of desires, and even desires after desires being fulfilled, there is no end to desires at all. Such person, if we think that we will get peace after gaining what we desired, it's a long and distant dream for us. Our peace is only momentarily, our peace is only temporary in nature. It completely depends how long it stays with us, and again we are back to the square one, again running after new things, again the peace is gone. I'm telling you one thing very honestly, and I think I only also mentioned it in the last session. You will see that any amount of achievement you see in the world, the definition we give for so-called successfully established people in the world, just really see, they may have huge amount of bank balances and luxuries and other thing, but it's not that their life is peaceful all the time. They don't have eternal peace. Vis-a-vis that, a man who is renounced everything, a man of realization, for whom desires really don't matter. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya is also going to get into a different level to explain that in the next verse, verse number 71. He is the one who is sitting there in absolute peace, not the one who is sitting in the heaps of wealth. And I think one of the quotes I also forwarded in the in the WhatsApp group we have for the listeners on the 1st of April. Oh fool, give up the hankering of wealth. What is wrong with you? That wealth is not going to give you what you really want in life. Now tell me something very honestly. Isn't peace something we are all wanting to achieve in life? Isn't that something which we all want to really gain in our life? But have we really got it? That's the point we need to remember, that peace is not there for or those who actually run after and think that fulfilling desires is going to give peace. That's not the correct way of understanding it at all. So Puja Gurudev said in his quote, "Oh fool, give up the thirst to possess wealth. If you think that wealth is the thing which is going to give you everything in this life, including peace and happiness forever, I'm sorry, that's your mistaken identification in life. That's not correct at all. Because had that been the case, even I gave you that example also, everything we achieve in life except the spiritual wealth, we have to make a lot of effort to actually maintain it. Spiritual wealth, I'm saying, for a man of realization. If I'm giving you an example I gave you in the last session also, that like, just see, if we maintain health we'll have to maintain. If we just give up maintaining it, it will again get spoiled, right? Somebody doing gymming, yoga, or everything, you have to do it consistently to maintain it. More than actually gaining it, maintaining is a big effort. And I can say many things about it, but I'll probably talk about it some other time. But any achievement you see in this world, it comes with a very high cost of maintenance. Very high cost of maintenance. Sometimes the whole life is spent in maintaining them. I'll say one more thing here, and you may just take it back and think over it. Actually, uh, I will purposively not use the word all, but actually you can qualify most of the people in that. All the people or most of the people who are wealthy, actually they are not really wealthy for the sake of wealth, so to say. They are actually only protectors of the wealth. All wealth actually belongs to Bhagwan only. All wealth belongs to Bhagwan and the supreme consciousness only, the God only. And everybody else who has wealth is only protecting the wealth of God or within themselves. So actually, how many of the people are really able to enjoy what they have? Many people are only sitting as guardian of wealth. They're not even, many are not even living life to actually correctly enjoy it also. So technically you will call them actually gatekeepers of wealth and not actually wealthy, so to say. So think over it. There are many aspects I can bring out from spirituality. See, I'm not against wealth. Don't say that everyone needs wealth, because in this world, without money you can't survive. But I'm only saying that you don't need to spend your whole life behind it. There are other objectives of life also, we must focus on them also. So spirituality is never against wealth. And one of the meaning of Shri or Mother Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi, when we talk about Mother Lakshmi, today is Navami, and Navratra just went by, and we worship Devi in three forms: as Mother Kali, Mother Lakshmi, and Mother Saraswati. You have, there are many spiritual meanings behind it. So one of the thing I'll touch, when we say Mother Lakshmi, the picture we have is that there is a Devi sitting with money falling out of the pot which she has in her hand. But actually, wealth in real aspect is not that wealth alone. The actual wealth in this world is in many facets. Now I'm telling you one thing very honestly, because I'm on that topic now. The biggest and the most important wealth is actually knowledge, jnana. Then comes the wealth of spirituality. Then comes the wealth of devotion. Then comes the wealth of good nature. Everything is wealth. So Mother Lakshmi, when we worship, we have a very small and limited aspect of Mother Lakshmi we know. Mother Lakshmi actually represents all kinds of wealth which you can think of in this cosmos. That is why she is mother. She is the one who is the giver of all the wealth in this world. So please remember, wealth is not only money. Money is just one of the smallest aspects of wealth. It's one of the, smallest percentile of wealth we can talk about. But unfortunate enough, today people's definition of success is that, more wealth we have, more wealth or more money we have, that is the sign of success for us. But I do not know how people have come to that definition. That's not correct at all. Remember one thing, always is, respected are those, than those who have more money with them, are those who have more knowledge. You will see that in the world also. Why do you think many kings used to be, devotees of sannyasins and, man of realization and all? Man of realization have no wealth, so to say, no that kind of wealth or money kind of wealth we talk about the way we understand it today. But the wealth they have, that is something which everyone worship, and that is the state of knowledge. And that is why, in the last 3 days of Navratras, Mother Saraswati is worshipped. Mother Saraswati represents knowledge. Now, since I'm on the topic, I can say that in very short form itself here. First 3 days we worship Mother Kali, so that we can eliminate all kinds of negativities or negative things which are residing in us, like jealousy, hatred, animosity, greed, lust. All these negative qualities we can destroy. That is why we worship Mother Kali in the first 3 days of Navratras. Once its negative qualities have been eliminated, then comes the next 3 days, which is worship of Mother Lakshmi. Means what? Gaining the wealth which is supposed to be the actual wealth in the world, like knowledge, good nature, devotion, spirituality. Unless and until we really kill or eliminate the negativities in us, we cannot possess that wealth which Mother Lakshmi blesses us. That's why first 3 days is worship of Mother Kali. The next 3 days is worship of Mother, Lakshmi, who gives us wealth and strength and power as well to actually gain knowledge. And the last 3 days is the highest of all, the thing called Mother Saraswati, the thing called knowledge, which is represented by Mother Saraswati. Mother Saraswati is worshipped in the last 3 days so that she blesses us with knowledge. What knowledge is the highest knowledge? The highest knowledge is the knowledge of Supreme Consciousness or God or the creation. I'll use this word, the knowledge about Jeev, Jagat, and Ishwar. Or you can put it in the correct order. I put it in the ascending order actually. Jeev, Jagat, and Ishwar. First know about yourself, then about the world. What is your relationship with the world? What are you in this world? And then about Ishwar, or the creator, who's actually behind this whole creation. So this is how we need to understand the Navaratras. So good that I'm talking about this today itself on Navami. And once we have attained that, that's when on the Navami shines the Supreme Consciousness, Bhagwan Ram, who is born on that day. Now you see the sequence. In Sanatan Dharma, remember one thing: nothing is by accident or by chance. It's not that some rishi sitting somewhere out of their mind just gave some days to celebrate and all. It's not like that. Everything has got deeper meanings. Even Navratras getting celebrated, there are 4 Navratras we celebrate in a year, by the way. 2 are actual Navratras and 2 are Gupta Navratras also. Every Navratra has got its own significance, so to say. So that is how we need to understand. And once Mother, the blessings of Mother Saraswati is gained, that is when on the 9th day, Bhagwan Ram is born, and we are able to see him clearly amidst this mumbo jumbo of life. In sitting in this creation, we are able to see Bhagwan Ram or Bhagwan more clearly than we see the world today. Today, our state is we see the world more clearly, world and worldly things and all those situations around us more clearly than God. God is far distant and invisible for us today. So we have to reverse that completely completely, go over that at on the other side and come across to the level where we are able to see the world in a very, what do you call that, hazy manner, and able to see God very clearly, because He is the ultimate creator. Once you see the creator, then the world loses its importance, and that is what verse number 70 was all about. Now let's move into verse number 71, which is our verse for today. Bhagwan takes it to the next level and talks about the man of realization from a different angle here. So Bhagwan is continuing his elaboration of the man of realization, the quality of a man of realization, the state of man of realization. Now you see, you are able to hear the state of man of realization from Bhagwan's mouth himself. Otherwise, I'm telling you very honestly, unless and until we see Mahatmas, we won't know what we are missing in life actually. That is one thing which we all need to remember. It is said in our scriptures also, the realized saints are actually the foundation of this world. The day they move away from this world, all of them, go away from this world will crash into pralay, so to say, because they are there sitting in somewhere in the cave and or doing their sadhana of establishing themselves in Brahman. That is why this world is able to survive and maintain. Otherwise, you see, there is enough chaos in the world, whether it is from political scenario, whether it is at the level of world. Every time there is a danger hanging on the head that I do not know what will happen. Corona came, now there is a danger hanging. Will the world war 3 happen? What is going to happen on the political scenario with this trade war, this percentage, that percentage? Every time there is uncertainty going on. So Bhagwan now talks in verse number 71. We'll read the verse number 71 first, and then I'll read the Bhashya of Bhagwan Shankaracharya on this, and then we'll take up the meaning of that. Verse number 71. Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumamscharati nisprihah nirmamo nirahankarah sashantimadhigacchati. Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumanscharati nisprihah nirmamo nirahankarah sashantimadhigacchati. भगवान शंकराचार्य जी इस भाष्य on it. विहाय परित्यज्य कामान यह सन्यासी पुमान सर्वान अशेषतः कात्स्येर्न चरति जीवन मात्र चेष्टा शेषः पर्यटति इत्यर्थः. निस्पृहः शरीर जीवन मात्रे अपि निर्गता स्पृहा यस्य स निस्पृहः सन् निर्ममः शरीर जीवन मात्रा क्षिप्त परिग्रहे अपि मम इदम इति अभिनिवेश वर्जितः निरहंकारः विद्यावत्वादि निमित्तात् संभावना रहित इत्यर्थः. स एवं भूतः स्थित प्रज्ञो ब्रह्मविद शांतिम सर्व संसार दुखो परम लक्षणाम निर्वाणाख्याम अधिगच्छति प्राप्नोति ब्रह्मभूतो भवति इत्यर्थः. Supreme consciousness Bhagwan Krishna, in yet another verse, declaring the level of a man of realization, elaborates the state of the man of realization here. Bhagwan says, Yah puman vihaya kaman nisprihah charati sa shantim adhigacchati. Whosoever is this person who has reached this state, if he is the one who is a jnani, so he is going to be like this. If he is a jnani, he is going to be like this. Because just remember what was the last portion of Arjun's question in verse number 54. Vrajeta kim. How does the man of realization move about in the world? Arjun was curious. Once a person has become man of realization, how will this person be moving around in the world? Now he has already known the other side of this entire creation. He has already known that highest which is supposed to be known in any kind of lifetimes we are born. We are actually born with that purpose in life, whether we achieve it in this life or many lives to come. So Arjun was curious to know, Bhagwan, how will this person move around? I'm really curious to know, how will this person look like? Wow, what will be his, action in the world? How will he be behaving in the world? How will he be acting in the world? How will he be walking around in the world? Imagine a man of realization who has attained the highest, the creator in this whole creation, who is coined by the word Sthita Prajna. How this person is going to walk around? I'm really curious to know, Bhagwan. I want to really search for this man and go and take refuge under him. Now remember one thing, for the seekers or the for the practitioners of spirituality, whom I coined with the word seekers, for them, Bhagwan said in the verse number 64 that he would live a life which is devoted to God, is free from deep liking, raga, and hatred, which is dvesha, or deep aversion, should be free from that. And even if his senses act in the world of objects, as it should be always free from any kind of deep likings, raga, or deep hatred, which is dvesha. Such a person achieves something in the life called prasada, and I explained there the meaning of word prasada here. Because first he has to get devoted to that. Once he has got this idea of what God is, what realization is, then only he will make an effort to walk towards that. I'm telling you one thing very honestly, there are many people in this world for whom I would use the word there, use this word very correctly. Somewhere their internal software has become corrupt. I'm using it purposively there. Somewhere their internal software has become corrupt. And the reason for that is there are multiple reasons for that. They may not have enough punya in life. B, they may have many pap karma in life also. C, they never work towards developing devotion to God also. Because of that, they have something which is lacking in their life, which is what has affected their internal system with a virus, and their software has become corrupt now. Because their software has become corrupt, now with that software, if they move around in the life, it will always be in the corrupted way only. And probably I think that is one of the reason why this word is there for people who do corruption. Corruption also comes out of corrupted inner equipment, no? And corrupted inner equipment can only make you walk towards doing corruption without even knowing that result you will only have to bear at maybe this life may not be this life, maybe sometimes in one life, maybe sometimes in many lives to come. So I'm telling you one thing very honestly. I said it in one of my podcasts before also, don't fear from God, but more than that, you should have fear from your actions. Trust me, I'm telling you, God is a epitome of compassion. Epitome of compassion. That's why he's called, Sindhu Sagar. He is actually Kripa Sagar, Kripa Sindhu. In the stuti which I did for Bhagwan Ram also, there is a word, no? Oh, Bhai Pragat Kripala Deen Dayala. He is always there to bless his devotees. But the only thing is, he is not going to force you to become a devotee. It's in your interest to become a devotee. I'm going to come to that point as I move along also. So first you have to have a idea of Bhagwan. You have to accept Bhagwan. Sometimes what happens is we become so selfish and so egoistic that we are not ready to accept any other form, any other form to be devoted, or we are not able to ready to accept anybody higher than us. And that is why probably we may have lack of devotion towards form also. By the way, sorry. So in this verse, Bhagwan is not talking about a spiritual seeker. Bhagwan is actually talking about a man of realization. because this verse cannot go for a seeker, cannot go for a spiritual person who's putting spiritual effort. Bhagavan is talking about a man of realization only, because the act of a man of realization in the world, it will always be free from two things which Bhagavan said: Kaman and Spriha. Okay, remember, Sarvan Pumans Charati, wherever he walk around, wherever he act, whatever he act, whosoever he act with. These three things you should understand with this word Sarvan Pumans Charati. Wherever, whosoever, and whatever this person, man of realization, acts in this world, it will always be free from any kind of kamana and spriha. Now I should pick up this word before I move further. In the second portion of this verse, Bhagwan takes to the next level what happens after kaman and spriha being not being absent in this man of realization. Anyway, I'll come to that. There are 4 or 5 things which we need to understand this particular verse. So kaman actually means desire. Okay, now the literal meaning of the word spriha is actually deep desire or deep longing. Okay, or we can say with this spriha can be defined with 3 words actually in English: deep attachment, deep longing, or deep desire. Now remember, it starts from desire only. And I have mentioned when I spoke about the ladder of fall quite elaborately there. It all at the basis or at the foundation of all those is what? That we have given importance for those things in our life, and we have come to this thought that these things or these situations, these people are going to add beauty to my life. Means what? My life now is not beautiful. I've accepted that fact, and I need external things to beautify my life, right? So anyway, I don't want to go that route. Also, there are many things I can pick up in terms of example in the worldly front. There are so many things I can pick up in terms of beautifying and all those things, so you can all think over it at yourself. So kamana means it starts with desire, and then it moves to what? When we keep on giving importance to that and becomes stronger, the desire becomes stronger in us, it turns into something called longing, it turns into something called attachment. Then once it becomes that, then there is no way I will have to fulfill it. But this man of realization is actually free, completely free from both these desire and actually the deep longing. So one more way I can explain you this. In the first portion of this word, Bhagwan is talking about the effect. In the next half of this verse, Bhagwan is actually describing the causes. So that's why in two halves of the verses, Bhagwan is trying to cover up the reason why why a man of realization is like that. So Bhagwan negates that in the man of realization, in the first half of the verse, Bhagwan negates that the effect is also not there. In the next half of the verse, Bhagwan says effect is not there. Why? Because the cause itself is not there. Only when the cause is there, then only effect can be there. Na? So the problem happens with us is we are not working on the cause, we are actually trying to eradicate at the level of effect. But remember one thing, once the cause is gone, effect will always be gone. I've explained about the cause and effect when I was talking about the starting versus post around 2.30 and all. I spoke quite elaborately about the cause and effect relationship. In the verses when we took up when Bhagwan Uvacha started at from 2.11 onwards, from there I have explained elaborately about the cause and effect. So Bhagwan is talking about the absence of effect in the man of realization in the first half of the verse number 71, and then Bhagwan and goes on and says these are not there. Also you will see that the cause is also not there. Because the cause is not there, there is a complete absence of effect in the man of realization. And that's why Bhagwan described both, Kamna and Spriha. Otherwise, Bhagwan could have left it at Kamna. So Bhagwan wanted to come to that point. Every desire doesn't even turn into Spriha, so to say. So Bhagwan says, why Bhagwan mentioned desire, Bhagwan could have only mentioned Spriha also. I told you one thing when I, was describing the verses of Bhagavad Gita. Remember, not even a full stop and comma is without a reason, and the way Bhagwan has explained here. Whatever Bhagwan has said, there is too much depth of it. I'm not saying that I'm covering the entire depth of Bhagavad Gita yet. I'm trying to, explain it as much as possible, but trust me, there is more depth to it that I can say it to you here itself. There are more depth than I can also see in Bhagavad Gita, but I'm trying to give you as much depth as possible for you to enjoy and see how much rich is Bhagavad Gita in terms of knowledge. So Bhagwan says, there is a reason why Bhagwan has mentioned desire and spriha both here. Bhagwan did not omit desire, kamna from here and mention only spriha. Bhagwan did not omit spriha and only mention and kamna here. So if Bhagwan has mentioned both, it's for us to think why Bhagwan has mentioned both and what is the reason behind it. So I told you at the level of desire, Bhagwan has already spoken about in the ladder of fall, that how the desire translates into, krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibrama, smriti bhramshat buddhi nasha, buddhi nashat pranashyati. Bhagwan has spoke about the ladder of destruction there. That was one line Bhagwan spoke about. But the thing which we need to remember, and Bhagwan then afterwards also spoke about, why there is an importance of, not having raga and dvesha, means deep liking or deep attachment and deep, hatred, and, so to say. There Bhagwan, and I've already mentioned that why is the need for actually not having that. Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, Bhagwan Bhashyakar, in the Bhashya of this particular verse, explains the deeper meaning of it and says is asheshatah kaman. This person's asheshata kaman means all kinds of desires have completely been dispensed away. They've completely been dropped away. This person has not even a wee bit of desire. And all kind of objects in this world, all kind of situation and any kind of thing in this world loses to charm this person at all, loses their charm to actually attract this person, so to say. That is why it is mentioned asheshatah kaman. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji says, sharira jivan matre api nirgata spriha. That's the brilliance. Bhagwan Bhashikar says, even deep longing to maintain one's body, even deep longing for things to maintain one's body is also absent in this person. It's not there. Nispriha son. This person is free from deep longing for even maintaining his body, things for maintaining his body also. So, that's why you will see many saints' life, if you, know about or you listen to them, you will understand this is what which is seen in every saint, so to say. There are people outside who may say, man, this saint left so early in life. When one who has already attained Brahman, why will that saint want to waste time in this life at all, by the way, and stay in this body? He has already attained Brahman. He would want to, he's doing Bhagwan's work. He will bless as much devotees as possible, or, make the knowledge available or reach as much devotees as possible, and would want to move away and merge in that self, because ultimately that is the excitement, no, isn't it? So this man of realization does not have even desire for maintain things for maintaining in body also. When you see in the common parlance, you will see whatever our actions we do in our life, if usually, behind them or at the base of all those actions is actually desire of us only. We do everything out of desire only, na? Why do one work hard to reach a position and in life? Because there is a desire to reach somewhere, right? It's every action we do in our life, actually behind them is some kind of desire only which is there, to be honest with you. And they say, and what desire does is, taking in the support of both desire and deep longing, our life actually moves on. Depending upon the desire and deep longing, actually our life moves. And that is why the objective scientists say, without desire, why will one live? What is the charm of living? Man of realization is also living till the prarabdha is there. They don't go and commit suicide, by the way. They don't do that. They live there till the time Bhagwan wants them to be there, because through them Bhagwan wants to bless people around them. So they just maintain their body only for or ensuring that Bhagwan's work is done as much as possible. They don't run around things like that. Let Bhagwan decide how he wants to work. They only mention and they only consider themselves as an empty flute in Bhagwan's hand. Let Bhagwan play as long as Bhagwan wants to play, and whatever tune Bhagwan wants to play. They only want to be available to Bhagwan. That is the level of a man of realization. And actually, our life takes actually the support of desire to move on in life, and depending upon the desire and deep longing only, our life moves on. The third thing which our life depends upon for or surviving or moving on in life is something called mamata, which Bhagwan has mentioned as nirmama. I'm making one thing clear here. you know I'm not talking about mamata as a name here at all. I'm talking about mamata means, I'll use one word going forward for you to understand this mamata and nirahankara. Will use this word called mamata as minus is not minus, the mathematical minus, myness, minus, that this is mine, that is mine, this is mine. This house belongs to me. Do you know this post belongs to me? Do you know this car belongs to me? That is called minus. When I say my with things, no, identified with things, that is called minus. And that is what is termed with the word called mamata in Sanskrit. And when Bhagwan says nirmama, means this man of realization is free from minus. And the fourth thing, which is the basis or foundation of our life as of today, is something called ahankara. Now, ahankara, we usually translate ahankara as ego. Now, the problem is this word ego is also very grossly misunderstood by us. I don't think we really understand the actual meaning of the word ego. So, instead of using the word free from ego, I am going to use the next word for this, which is also mentioned by Gurudev also in his book, and that is called I-ness. I-ness means the letter I, ness. So there are two things here. One is miness, that this is mine, that is mine, and the second thing is I-ness. Me. I am so and so, and I do so and so things. I act with these things and all. I'll tell you one thing very honestly. Many people, by God's grace, they reach out to me over WhatsApp personally, also for personal questions and all. So every time, and sometimes people reach out with just their question. They have no address, nothing at all. They don't even address you correctly. They don't even forget about giving respect of address. They address you incorrectly. They don't address you at all. They just post the question. I don't know what people think, that they just post the question and think that I'm going to answer. The second thing is, for all those people who send their questions without the name, I always ask them, please introduce yourself. Hariom, please introduce yourself. That's my standard. Now the thing I wanted to come to is, there's so many people have asked this question. Everyone's introduction is different. By the way, I don't know. Some people say, I'm so and so. Oh, I'm mom of so and so. I work in so and so. I'm this, I'm that. There are many kind of introductions that people will talk about. I don't want to describe it here. But there are some people who I don't know how they even say it also. There are people, like some people have come to me and says, what do I introduce myself? I am that supreme self and consciousness. I said, then if that is the case, then why are you even asking the question? And who are you asking the question to, by the way? Then there is no need to ask the question if you have understood that. So, there are all kind of introductions which people come up with, but remember this third and fourth thing, which are the basis for our life to move on. That is called minus, which is called mamata, means mama, that are, that act, that identification. And then the fourth thing is ahankar, or which is like I-ness, I so and so, I this and all those things which is there. Now Bhagwan said what? Bhagwan has made it very clear, for a man of realization, these four things are absent. These four things are completely not there in the man of realization. Eh? How is it possible? How is this man of realization living if these things are not there? Now let's peel down into these things and understand why, for a ajnani or an ignorant person, these things are the foundation, and what happens and at the level of a man of realization, that he's able to move ahead and move without them completely. Now remember, a man of realization, when you go and ask him an introduction, man of realization in the physical world will never come and say that what to talk about my introduction, I am the supreme consciousness, all pervading. He'll never say that. Never ever you will hear that from a man of realization. I'm telling you one thing very honestly. It is said in a conversation and of Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananji with someone, that please remember, whenever Puja Swamiji, Puja Paramaguru Swami Tapovanji used to meet Puja Swamiji, Swami Shivananji, the conversation used to be very different. If we meet today, the conversation will be about maybe, building, bricks, cement, politics, countries, situation in the world, new objects getting launched. Did you know that there's a new phone model which is coming up? New car model which is coming up? These may be the kind of discussion we have. But the kind of discussions when two jnani, two man of realization meets, it is actually worth seeing ourselves. Their conversation is very different. They may talk to each other for hours, but the discussion is always about the creator, the supreme consciousness, the new way of knowing God, new way of understanding God's leela, new way of realizing the self, new way or new experiences about the self which are unfolding as they move along the path of self realization. I told you, in Purusha Suktam, there is a line which comes, Padosya Vishwa Bhutani Tripadasya Amritam Divi. Purusha Suktam, it's said, it's a Vedic Suktam, where it is said, with 1/4 of the creator, all these so-called created world, the worlds which you can see, which you cannot see also, all those seen and unseen worlds are made of. And Tripadasya Amritam Divi, 3/4 of the creator is completely unknown to all. Only a man of realization, when he becomes absorbed in Brahman, start to realize that side. But even though he starts to realize that side, but alas, he is not able to explain it to anyone. Even if he explains, we may not understand. That is a different thing. Like I gave you one example in example in one of the sessions that Puja Gurudev gave about the electricity. Someone says, what is electricity? Now, how will you explain? Swamiji can explain that, it lights the light lamp or light the bulb, it runs the fan. So person may think it gives light also, it gives air also. Two things it's giving. But I didn't understand what is the form of electricity. The person who knows electricity will keep quiet only. Swamiji will say, go and touch and realize it yourself. And once the person touches electricity, then that question will never come up, that how is electricity. The person will come to know how is electricity, but even though after coming to know, he won't be explaining it to anyone how electricity is. That is it's a small example for us to understand and in actual, laughing sense, in terms of a joke, that this is how the state of Brahman is. So padosya vishwa bhutani tripadasya amrutam divi. 3/4 of the creator will never be known to anyone. So just imagine, whole sciences are trying to understand the earth. They have not understood the earth only completely, and now they are their portions of galaxy. They are trying to understand Mars and all those things. But there are so many galaxies present. How far will science reach? So, but remember, the man of realization has already crossed over where the sciences can reach in zillions of generations to come. Man of realization has already reached across that. He's already become Brahman, all pervading self. So that's one thing which we need to know about the man of realization. Now, the thing, let's come back to the common parlance. If we really think through in our life, can we really imagine a life without having any identification of things as mine? Just think. For a common man, without minus, life is, there is no life. There is no foundation of life. There is nothing in life. If nothing is mine, what is your life? So it's very difficult for us to comprehend such a state where there is complete absence of minus. We may end up saying, poor man, but sorry, he is actually the richest man. We are all poor in his actual sense. Why? We are chasing after all the temporary things in the world, and he, leaving all the temporary, has moved to the permanent. So who is rich, we or him? So it's very difficult for us to comprehend a life without the level of minus. And what is the meaning? How do we translate this minus? That there is something present in my life which I can call mine. There is somebody present in my life who I can call as my. And we end up working towards it, by the way. We, what to say, we end up chasing for it throughout the life. And there are things which we end up doing wrong also for gaining someone, and removing someone also. What kind of incidents we see around? We haven't understood life at all. Whether somebody is a seeker, a spiritual seeker, or somebody is completely non-spiritual, whether somebody is a kid or somebody is an old man, without this sense of myness, without this thing called minus in life, it is very difficult to lead a life. It is very difficult to think of a life. And many a times in spiritual talks also, in spiritual talks also, many kind of speakers try to put down upon accumulation of this or this minus and all those things. It's very strange. So, yes, we do talk about the limitations of this external wealth, but we don't. If you are a correct spiritual seeker, if you are a correct spiritual teacher, if you are a correct spiritual saint, you will never talk about negating of the wealth at all. You don't talk about complete giving up it at all. Why? Because it's part of this creation. We don't talk about or putting down anything in this creation. Everything is created by the creator only. And just think there is a what do you call that, pravakta. There is a person who is giving spiritual talk, and he's like talking negative about this is complete wealth totality. And he says that but I charge for my talk. How stupid it will be. Money is important. There is nothing to talk about. Money is not important. No real spiritual teacher will say don't earn. They will never say that. You don't earn, you give me everything. That's a wrong statement. No, that's not correct. Yes, part of a earning you should give. That's a different subject altogether, because that's part of the punya. I'm not talking about that. But remember, no real spiritual teacher, no real spiritual saint and will talk negative about, oh, don't do this, don't do that and all. No, they will tell you the limitation of doing that, so that you don't end up wasting your entire energy behind it. We talk about things that don't end up spending your entire life behind it. There are bigger objectives in life which you can attain with this life. We are only trying to bring out things which is important. We are only trying to negate the too much importance you have given to wealth. We are not trying to tell you don't do it at all. Nobody says. No spiritual teacher will ever say, hey, that all of you should give up everything and take up sannyas. I'm sorry, nobody will say that. Even people who come up with that thought, if somebody is a real spiritual saint, he will tell you, do your duty first, do things and keep this as thing parallel for now, till the time you become completely firm in this. Don't make spirituality a sign of escapism for you. It is not. Many people have understood spirituality as a side of escapism from the world. I'm sorry, spirituality is completely against escapism. If someone wants to escape from the world and take up spirituality, trust me, he's a bigger failure than anybody else, a non-spiritual seeker also. He's lost the world also, he's lost spirituality also. No spiritual saint will say that. No spiritual teacher will ever say that. No spiritual mahatma will ever say that. A spiritual mahatma, for those people who come to say that, they will give you way. Keep doing your duty. You have something called prarabdha also. How can you negate prarabdha? You may run away from prarabdha, but prarabdha will run after you. You cannot escape your prarabdha. Then why run away? Where did Bhagavad Gita say Arjun wanted to run away? That is why Arjun asked. In the next chapter, when we come about, Arjun will talk about, after listening to Sthitaprajna in the third chapter beginning, Arjun will say, Bhagwan, you are praising so much about a Sthitaprajna, you are praising so much a man of spiritual realization, man of realization, and you are asking me to go and fight. That's so strange. Why are you asking me to find? Bhagwan himself giving advice. After giving this, Bhagwan could have told Arjun otherwise. Arjun, now I've already given you the knowledge. I think just leave this, war field and go and take up sannyas. Bhagwan knows Arjun, if he leaves the field, he cannot take up sannyas. He is not ready yet. Unless and until you are ready, if you take up sannyas as an escapism, you will get stuck into more work, more actions after that. You will get stuck into more kind of problems after that. You will get drowned in life more. That is why spirituality is completely dead against escapism. Escapism is not spirituality. I'm sorry. Sanatan Dharma never promotes it. Sanatan Dharma never will ask you to do that. Sanatan Dharma will always talk against it. Why? Some situation arises, you escape. That situation will go away. New situation will come. Your excitement will. You are neither a sannyasi nor anything. Where will you remain? So we have to understand that sannyas is not like that. There are many people who through grahastha have attained realization also. It's not about where you are. Yes, at the end, when you reach that path, you have to give up, but you can give up at that time also. It is not said like some people take up sannyas because they have already achieved all those things. They have gone through life already in their previous life. In their as when they are young itself, they take up sannyas. There are many such people, but that's their evolution. Everybody is coming up with their own evolution. Escapism is not sannyas at all. So when we really talk about life, you will understand how can somebody live a life without the sense of minus. But even if we talk negative about that, we talk about the limitations of minus. But if we really look at it, without mind, people can't live. A sannyasi also, so to say, will have some identification with his cloth, with his stick. There is an episode which I can talk about here. It's worth bringing out. uh, Puja Gurudev and Swami Tapovanji Maharaj. My God, I do not know, by their grace only it must have struck now as an example. When Puja Gurudev was studying under Puja Maharaj, Puja Maharaj Shri Swami Tapovanji Maharaj, Puja Param Guru Swami Tapovanji Maharaj, there is a time when such an incident happened that Puja Gurudev used to serve Swami Tapovanji a lot. He used to wash his clothes and all those things. One day, he washed his clothes, and he saw that his kurta, the upper wear which he wears, that gamcha we they call it, the longer kurta which Param Guru Swami Tapovanji used to wear, it was torn from a side. While washing, he saw, but he didn't want to point out, so he just arranged it correctly and kept it in Swamiji's room. Next day, Swamiji called Gurudev and asked him, Chinmaya, you tore my kurta. So Puja Gurudev was very truthful. He said, no, Swamiji, I didn't tear kurta. It was already torn. So Gurudev's Puja Param Guruji said, no, Chinmaya, you tore my kurta. Accept the mistake. Gurudev was very hurt that I did not tear the kurta. He put a wrong allegation on me. He was very hurt. Then some Guru Bhai who was studying with him said that, do you think when Puja Gurudev was sitting hurt, he said, you are misunderstanding your Guru. It's a test for you. Please remember, it's a test for you. Why do you think there is any dearth of devotees for Param Guru Swami Taponji Maharaj? The king of Uttarakhand, the king of Nepal are his devotees. Do you think they will not fulfill his desires? He just have to wink, they will fulfill his desires. Do you think that he has any dearth of asking them to give him a kurta? Do you think he will? It's a test for you, Chinmay. Please understand. So next day, since Gurudev didn't accept the thing, he said, I do not know. Param Guruji Swami Tapovanji Maharaj said, I don't know how people will study spirituality if they cannot even accept their mistakes in life. Puja Gurudev, it was very hurt, and that is when this conversation between in his counterpart who was studying with him, Guru Bhai we call it, him was held. And then he understood, and he went and said, sorry, I misunderstood you. Who the I'm so sorry that whatever you said is right. So Param Guruji said, Chinmay, I knew that the kurta was torn. I was only testing you. So you remember one thing, you never know how a guru will test his shishya. Remember, a guru wants nothing from his shishya except the fact that may his disciple put effort to grow spiritually in life and walk towards the path of realization. That's the only objective of a guru, and that's the only thing which a guru actually wants from the shishya. For that, he may put you through many tests. Even if he says something, he asks something, he interacts something, all interaction is a test. Remember, that test is not for the for the Guru is not going to gain from that test. Guru is only strengthening your faith, because through that channel of faith only you are going to walk that path which Guru is showing you. So Guru's purpose is very clear. He is not interested in what you have. He's not telling you that write your house to his name or give an ashram or all. Sorry, that's not what Guru wants. He's already reached where he wanted to reach. He wants nothing in life. And remember one thing, I'm just asking you one small thing. He is working for God, and God is the owner of this, of all the properties in this and all the other worlds, so to say. Do you think he will have to ask anybody for anything? Don't you think God will fulfill automatically? God is so focused on his devotees. God never leaves his devotee ever. You don't know, I told you in the last example itself, we see our Guruji, Swami Subhadanand used to say, I saw so many things flowing into Puja Gurudev from all over the world. And any Guru, we see that. But Guru is unmoved, unattached. And remember one thing, in that example I told you also, those who give with faith also gets the blessing automatically, because the one who gives the blessing is the creator for whom he works. He doesn't go and run after. He's not, there is a word which Puja Gurudev used to say in the early part of his, after sannyas also, that I am not that blessing kind of a guru that, who's going to bless you and all those things. Don't expect that I'm going to do that. I will pray for you to the same God who I work for. So yes, that's the only thing we need to understand. So that is exactly what we need to think over here. How can somebody actually, live without minus? Whether my expanse of my things are more or less, but still my things, the things which are mine only. And everybody's expanse of minus is different from each other, but everybody has some amount of things which are theirs. But the thing we need to understand, and in the transactional world, is for living a life we need a base of my minus. We need something which I can call mine. To go to my work, I may take a cab, but it's okay if I desire to have my own vehicle. And my own vehicle is my vehicle only, no, isn't it? Isn't that mine? When things which belong to me are there, that is when a man experiences security in life. Man and experiences some kind of peace in their life, some kind of solace in their life, that I have things which I can call mine. I have money in my account which can protect me when I need. I have big people who are my relatives, who are well to do, who I can call them as my relatives, etc., etc., etc. You can call all this expanse in any way. Because of presence of all these things in my life, what happens? We start to feel protected, that my life is secured. This is a feeling which comes to us the moment. And we reach a stage when we have to search, that is there anybody in my life who I can call mine? And when man feels the scarcity, that there is nobody in my life who I can call as mine, that is when his mind starts to sink. That is when his mind starts to go into depression. This minus alone is responsible for giving sorrow in my life, and also gives rise to fear in my life. Still, we feel that today in our life we cannot give this up completely, because we are dependent on it for life. Even if we want to leave also, we technically, after listening to spiritual things, we may feel like that we want to leave, but still we are not able to leave at all. We need to understand life from the standpoint where we are standing. That is why it is called standpoint. Your point is where you are standing. You have to interpret life from where you are standing. If you don't look at life from the point where you are standing, and you start to look at life from somebody else's point, that's when you start to actually shake up in your life. You have all the probability of not walking firmly in life, which will make you end up fall. So man should live at the point, should understand his standpoint first, and from his standpoint it will feel that I cannot give up these things around. So then the question comes, nirmamaha, this state Bhagwan is talking about who? So from that we need to understand that this verse is only and only talking about the level of a man of realization. It is not talking about the level of spiritual seeker at all. It is not talking about the level of a spiritual practitioner at all. Here, the thing nirmamaha can go only with a man of realization, only with a jnani, only with a sthita prajna. Because free from the feeling of minus, free from the presence of minus, free from the dependence of minus, it is not possible for all of us to lead a life like that. There are people, if you see, there are all kinds of people you see in this world. There are people who want to increase the expanse of things which belong to them, things and people which belong to them. There are people who are working towards reducing the expanse of things and people which belong to them. But there are people who wants to lead a simple life, right? There are people who wants to live a luxurious life also. But even those who want a simple life, the meaning of their simplicity does not translate into nirmama. It does not translate into absence or complete freedom from minus. So, in actual nutshell form, we need to understand, and in our life, these three things become extremely important for us. Three things I'm coining up now. Actually, there are four things, but two things are related to each other. That's why I'm coining it into three. So, if we coin them into three, we can talk about kamana, desire, mamata, minus, and ahankar, which is I-ness. So from kamana, a different form of desire only is priha. So that's why I did not mention four. I earlier mentioned four, now I'm mentioning three. Don't get confused here. Huh? Kamana or the desire and deep longing and deep desire, they can be coined together also. They can be kept separated. So you want to take four, you can take four, or you want to take three, you can take three. So you will see that, these are the three or four things which are there as a present thing in our life for all of us. Think over these lines now. Rest of this verse we'll take up in the next session. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम तत्सत्।